G'day, bird nerds. How you going? Um, I'm Grant. I'm a bird nerd. You can hear just off. No, where are yes, off there. I really should mirror that because anyway, Loz is with us today. Currently in his cage with the door open, so he can come and join anytime he slash she would like to. But enjoying a smorgo, an absolute smorgo, an all you can eat, an old time weekend smorgo lunch. Yellow flesh mandarin, banana, pear, and some blackberries, um, along with lorikeet mix. So, and after a bath, Loz is one of these. Where are we? One of these. If you haven't met Loz, and Loz just turned up out of the blue. Hey, gang, I found a couple of good news stories. I did all my research on my phone, and the stories won't send to my computer, so there'll be a little bit of finding and typing again. But I have one up ready to go. Oh, but you know what happens when you go looking for good news? You just find a whole heap of bad news. It's a humid day here in the unceded lands of the Wurundjeri country, the Wurundjeri people, Wurundjeri country, Melbourne, Australia. It's humid, it's hot, and I've got the lights on me, of course, so forgive me if I start to do some wiping of the brow. Let's and look, I have to ask you to let me know where you are listening from. Martin has obliged. Martin's in Gladstone. Martin's a regular part of the Riot Squad. The Riot Squad are the commenters and the chatters in the comments. And we call them the Riot Squad because the collective noun for a group of kookaburras, yes, Loz knew that, is a riot. Um, I'll get Loz out to say hello shortly. Um, there, I've seen a bit of publicity. Hello, Naomi. Naomi's the Blue Mountains, fantastic. Um, so, if you don't know the geography and you would like us to explain where stuff is, feel free to say so. Instagram, hello Instagram. Kindred Dragon from California, US. Now, Kindred Dragon and anyone else who's jumping in on Instagram, uh, I the integration between all the multi-platform streaming doesn't allow me to actually bring your comments in on Instagram, but I will read them out and respond as I'm doing now. Who else have we had a few people come in and leave on Instagram, but if you're coming back and Seamus Doherty, hello. See soon, Tiao. Thanks, Loz. Good comment. Uh, Egrills Photography, Eggrills or E-Grills Photography, the Bird Nerd, another Bird Nerd, uh, and Kindred Dragon. Kindred Dragon, what is it? It's about, will it be about 8 o'clock, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. in California at the moment. Let us know if I'm right. Oh, on consequential New Hampshire primary day. Ooh. All right, folks. Let's find something a little bit positive to talk about. We'll get this up. Oh, where's the story? Where's me story? Um, Here it is. So this is out of the conversation. The first thing that I've found to be sort of good news today. The Agulhas long-billed lark from South Africa is adapting and surviving despite farming taking over their nesting grounds. Um, so it is a bird that's endemic to South Africa. It's a ground nesting bird. Can you hear? Yeah, Loz can whistle. Yeah, see, Loz can whistle. Uh, sorry, distracted. Um, and it's a critically endangered species. I haven't looked up the red list. Maybe we'll do that shortly. Um, so it's restricted to an area of about 15,000 square kilometres. So it's not tiny. Um, it's a little brown bird, difficult to identify, but it has a distinctive call. Um, and let's see. Here's a key paragraph, key sentence. Because it only occurs in a small part of South Africa, the Agulhas long-billed lark presents ecotourism value and forms part of South Africa's unique biodiversity. Isn't it a shame that you have to be a rare bird to be like an ecosystem, an ecotourism value bird? Also, just let us know too. Make sure that you can hear me, and when I play things, please let me know quickly if you can't hear what I am playing. But I think everything should be a-okay. Let's get back to this. So obviously, being a ground nesting lark, it's occurring in fairly open country. One would assume, but nearly all of the grassland slash, I'm assuming it may have been what do we got? Let's actually see what the description is. Renosterveld is characterised by the dominance of members of the daisy family, Asteraceae, particularly Renosterbos elytropappus. It's actually Elytropappus rhinocertus, from which the vegetation type gets its name. It's characteristic dominant. Although that daisy is characteristically dominant, many other plants are prominent. For instance, many others in Asteraceae, such as Felicias, Helichrysum, Terrania, Relhania, members of the pea family, Fabaceae, Gardenias, Rubiaceae, Anthospermum, and Sterculiaceae. Oh, the cocoa family, and the thyme family. So it's small, tough grey leaves is what is characteristic of most of these plants. So it's fairly arid. That's what we're going to find out. Grasses are also abundant. In fact, it's alleged that the high shrub cover is a result of continuous grazing. Early records suggest that the Renosterveld had abundant grasses and that the game and coy cattle migrated over the region. Hello. With the establishment of European stock farmers, continuous grazing and the elimination of the diverse browsing fauna, the shrubby element was promoted. This theory is not universally accepted, but proponents argue that to the sudden decline of hay near Cape Town in the early 1700s and the many historical records of early explorers claiming that the Renosterbos was taking over and that the grass was becoming scarce. So here we go. So there's also geophytic plants, iris and lilies and orchids were also fairly common. And in South Africa, proteas, ericas, and restios, which are the long, like the tasseled, the tassel rush in Australia, we have a Restio, tend to be absent. Just seeing if there's anything else interesting there. High soil fertility, because it maintained mountain zebra. This is in the past. Mountain zebra, quagga. Do you know what a quagga is? We can talk about that. Bluebuck, red hartebeest, eland, bontebok, elephant, black rhino, and buffalo were common. So that's the kind of area that this lark lived in. Recent population estimates 203,000 to 368 individual birds. They're classified as near threatened because they're only found in this small area, so they're geographically isolated. Land use changes or any freak occurrence could be detrimental to the whole species and to other species that depend on this vegetation. Isn't this amazing? The quantity of birds that we're talking about in this population compared to the quantity, the actual population estimates of the Australian species we've been talking about in the last little while. Yeah, you agree, don't you, Loz? Do you want to come out? Do you want to come down? Want to come out? Oh, we'll see. He's kind of interested. Okay, so prior to this study that was done, and I might say the author of the study, Robert Leslie Thompson, I think, is that right? University of Cape Town. Prior to this study, nothing was known about the nesting biology or any of the nesting practices of the Agulus long-billed lark. Finding the lark's nest was no easy task. The species is relatively shy, and locating the nest often took hours of patient observation. So I'll just check comments and everything. G'day, Zoe. Zoe Farris. Golden Beach, Sunshine Coast. What a fabulous place. Gladstone is indeed a long drive from the Blue Mountains, so just going over where people are from. Kindred Dragon. So it's coming up to 6 p.m. in California. Okay, let me get back to the lark. So where's the good news? Where's the good news in all of this? So I don't need to tell you the whole story of the study. What the studying of the nests of the Agulus long-billed lark just found that they are adapting into other parts of the landscape. So they're starting to not only feed but to nest in predominantly agricultural lands. You want to come out, Loz? Come on. You want to come out? Come on. No. So it would seem obvious that it's critical that remaining patches of the preferred habitat would be protected, and it's the same issue we always come up against. Oh, actually, there's a horrible story that I'm going to cover in a little while. Come on. You can come down. Come on. So in this habitat known as Renosterveld, it's not only this lark that is endangered. There's the black corehorn, which I'm assuming is some kind of like hen. black harrier, Stanley's bustard are all birds that are either endangered or near threatened. But those birds have a much larger distribution, so they're of less concern. But the plains that this Agulhas lark nest on are the main habitat for those birds. Yeah. Look, I'm gonna just stop this for a minute and try and find a better good news story. Just bear with me. I think it was in the conversation again. How many of you watching have seen a bustard? Anyone seen a bustard? Oh, this might be the one. This might be the one. Oh, it is. It is. It was in Cosmos. Okay, I have to allow a whole heap of stuff. Okay. Now, so, how many of you have seen a bustard? Where are we? Stop sharing. Oh, sorry. Share. Naomi says she's never seen a bustard. Yeah. Many years ago. Martin says he's seen some many years ago. Martin, how much of the bird did you see? Did you just see the head sticking up above some grass? Was that the thing? So of course we've got the Australian bustard funnily enough, here in Australia. But in Europe, they have they have the little bustard, which looks like it has a bit more bold patterning than the Australian bustard. Kind of looks a bit like, yeah, it's pretty dramatic. Tetrax. And this is from a couple of days ago in Cosmos. So the little bustard lives in what they call the steppe land, which is essentially grasslands or stony plains. I mean, bustards have got similar habit right across the world. The different species, some of it a little bit more open savanna, some of it more general grass-dominated plains. But as more plains are being reclaimed for agricultural pursuits, the story is repeated for so many species. I mean, it's the same sort of story we talk about with curlews in Europe too. Depending on the farming cycle, that might be disturbing. Apart from disturbing where they live and what they eat, I mean, the critical thing is the agricultural activities that are undertaken when birds are nesting, so that often the nesting cycle can't be completed. So, funnily enough, scientists or researchers are just coming up with the idea that increasing the area of land that is allowed to lie fallow or unsown, that you then might be able to stabilise the populations of these threatened species, and do good regenerative farming. So that's good news. So that strategy of leaving large amounts of land fallow means there's an option for the birds to nest, and the strategy is apparently having a positive effect on the population of the little bustard, mainly because it increases the reproductive success, says Santi Menoza, an avian conservationist at the University of Barcelona in Spain. So that strategy provides the species with everything that has disappeared in the rain-fed agricultural environments because of the intensification of agricultural practice. In spring, they find food, places for the males to stop and attract females, because bustards need an area to display, to perform. So they find food, places for the males to stop and attract females, mate, nest and feed the birds. In summer and autumn, and a great part of winter when crops are reaped and cultivated, fallow lands are the only places with enough food to provide the little bustard flocks shelter and food. Fallow lands are becoming less common in Spain, which has led to the little bustard being listed as near threatened by the IUCN. Between 2009 and 2018, 21% of the fallow land surface had been lost in Catalonia, and steppe-land bird populations have reduced by 27%. But this is kind of good news. Not these figures, but just that the thought processes are changing. 27% but in 17 years, a reduction in the population levels of bird species that live on the steppe. More than 27%, so 6% greater than the proportion of fallow land surface that had been lost. One might affect the other. While the population models generated in this study suggested increasing the area of fallow lands could halt the decline of the species, it would not be enough to recover population numbers. So there again, and this is something where we don't often have this level of the conversation in any of these discussions. It's one thing to halt the very rapid decline or to slow the decline, but shouldn't the aim be to bring the population back to the as close as we can to the population level when the last major studies were done? I don't know. Let me read that again. While population models generated in this study suggest that increasing the area of fallow lands could halt the decline of the species, it would not be enough to recover population numbers. Instead, implementing other conservation measures to reduce mortality from both natural and human causes, which have so far been neglected by little bustard conservation programs, will be essential. I need to look more into that. Let's read that again to see if it actually makes sense. Instead, implementing other Well, let's read the two paragraphs. But while population models generated in this study suggest that increasing the area of fallow lands could halt the decline of the species, it would not be enough to recover population numbers. Instead, implementing other conservation measures to reduce mortality from both natural and human causes, which have so far been neglected by little bustard conservation programs, will be essential. For instance, reducing the mortality of adult females We know the little bustard is sensitive to death by collision with power lines because of its relatively reduced frontal vision when flying. It would be necessary to identify the main areas of post-breeding and winter aggregation and to act on the power lines installed to reduce the probability of death of the specimens. In the most important breeding and hibernation areas, some lines should be buried or eliminated, and in the rest of the areas, the lines should be properly marked with anti-collision elements. Cranes, raptors, bustards, lots of birds colliding with power lines. What do you think? Do you think the community would be prepared to bear the cost of putting transmission lines underground? That article didn't actually state it, but it sounds like a bigger problem, or one of the most direct, perhaps the most direct cause of mortality is the transmission lines, is the power lines. So that if you don't put the power lines underground, then preserving the habitat might be pointless. Would people be prepared to wear that cost? What do you think? Let's see, coming back to Instagram. No comments on Instagram. Thank you, Naomi. Bit of Facebook love there from Naomi. Let's just see where everyone from. We've got Hello X. You can comment on X. We did discover that the comments came through the other day. YouTube, hello. It's always nice to have everyone on YouTube. Facebook, hello. Nobody on Twitch today. Ooh. Okay, now let me find. So they're the two sort of goodish news stories that I could find. Now I have to go to I'll just see whether we can get this one up on sorry, folks. I did all my research on the phone while I was cooking my lunch, but and then it wouldn't let me send it to the okay, this is going to be it. Can I read the whole thing? Yes, I can. Here we go. This is a good thing. I've never tried this. Never tried this. Let's give this a go. First we'll get Martin's comment up. Martin talking about his sighting of the Australian bustard. The one I saw was in a grazing paddock that had some grass on it driving out west. Yeah, I was pretty thrilled when I saw a bustard. Let's give this a try. Now, I'm hoping, let's see, that I will get this in my ears. Sound. Okay. Because it's got the option here to play the audio of the article from the Sydney Morning Herald here from Laura Chung. from yesterday. So the headline is "We Can't Save Everything. Record number of species listed as threatened." Let's try this out. It's a 5-minute read. Let's give it a go.
We can't save everything. Record number of species listed as threatened. A record number of mammals, frogs, plants and birds were added to the National Threatened Species list last year, with conservation experts warning we won't be able to save every animal from extinction. The new additions, totaling 144 species, are 5 times more than the yearly average and double the previous record year set in 2009, analysis by the Australian Conservation Foundation found. Among the species include the endangered pink cockatoo, also known as the Major Mitchell cockatoo, which is found across South Australia, Victoria and New South Wales, the critically endangered Daintree rainbowfish and the Arcadia velvet gecko. Since colonisation, about 100 of Australia's unique flora and fauna species have been wiped off the planet. The rate of loss has not slowed in the past 200 years. Every species that was added to the threatened species list last year deserves protection because every creature and plant plays an important role in sustaining the web of life, ACF's nature campaigner Peter Bulling said. From the tiny little bugs that live on the eucalyptus to the birds that feed on those bugs and then help protect the whole ecosystem from an explosion in the population of a particular insect, nature in all its diversity is so finely balanced and beautiful. Bulling said she was most concerned that the Canberra grassland earless dragon had been added, a small reptile that has only 3 individuals remaining in the ACT. But the silver lining, she said, was that the dozens of animals added to the threatened species list illustrated the government's efforts to ensure each animal was documented accurately and cleared the backlog of nominations left by previous governments. Why were there so many nominations? The reasons are complex. Firstly, the 2019-20 bushfires devastated much of the landscape and impacted many plants, animals and reptiles. And it takes a while for a species to be added to the list as it has to meet a set of criteria that takes a while to compile. Since Labor took government 2 years ago, 223 threatened species and 8 ecological communities have been added to the threatened list. Of these, 130 were bushfire-affected species and 8 were bushfire-affected ecological communities. Almost 30 of these listings were completed and ready for ministerial decision before July 2022, but the previous government did not act on them. Australian National University ecologist Professor Sarah Legg said a lot of this assessment has happened in record time since the Black Summer bushfires. The whole assessment is rigorous and robust, but you wouldn't want to speed it up so much that you're losing faith in its integrity. But I think there are ways of speeding it up a little bit. It's more important to make sure the list is current and up to date. You don't want groups of species that aren't assessed properly. She added that, historically, invertebrates and fish had been poorly counted, which could account for more additions of these species than before. But there's a range of other factors driving the new additions. These include threats posed by climate change, weak nature protection laws, ongoing habitat destruction and land clearing, said WWF Australia Threatened Species and Climate Adaptation ecologist Dr. Keita Ashman. Part of me was surprised and part of me wasn't, Ashman said when she'd seen the record number of species added to the list. Many species listed last year should have been listed several years ago. She added that choosing which species to save was difficult, given the limited funding available. We can't save everything. But the best thing to do is to save the flagship species. Yes, we are saving one particular species, but it will be benefiting several other species that share that habitat, she said. An example is the greater glider. They need mature, healthy forests to live, but those forests support over 800 animals. It's not perfect, but it's a good way to do conservation with a limited budget. About 5 months after Labor won the 2022 federal election, Environment Minister Tanya Plibersek made a "zero new extinctions" pledge. This would see Australia adopt a target of preventing any new extinctions of plants and animals as part of the new Federal Threatened Species Action Plan, which focuses on only 110 of our 1,900 threatened species. Plibersek said no one wanted to see any more plants or animals become extinct, which was why the government had invested $500 million in conservation efforts, as well as tackling invasive species. A species does not become threatened overnight. We've got more threatened species than ever before due to a decade of neglect under the Liberals and Nationals, she said. Plibersek added the government was trying to strengthen environmental laws, including establishing Australia's first National Environment Protection Agency. Get to the heart of what's happening with climate change and the environment. Our fortnightly environment newsletter brings you the news, the issues and the solutions. Sign up here.
I just wanted to go back to one of the where was it? Where's the bit? Where's the bit that rose my eye? Where is it? Doesn't matter. I just thought it was. I thought there was I thought there was sort of an emphasis on getting the species on the list with less of an emphasis on protecting them. But I guess that's where we are, isn't it, nowadays? Oh boy. And look, you just look at the years of the Liberal government where so many they just really didn't want to be listing animals, did they? Susan Lee, was she the worst? Was she the worst Minister for the Environment we've ever seen? I don't know. So, folks, tell me some good news. There's a pile more. You want to come out? Come on. You want to come out? Come on. Come on, say hello. Come on. He's having a good stretch. I don't know why he wants to be in the cage today. Took him out for a bath very, very early and been happy eating since the bath. Have a guess how much it costs to DNA test a lorikeet. Got to get some testing done to make sure, obviously, that there's no parrot beak and feather disease, and that's the only reliable way to get sexing, other than taking to the vet to get a full examination. I think I'll go with the hear that. Apparently, all the behavioural cues are that Loz is a happy lorikeet. So, if we're doing the right thing and Loz is happy, even though he had the trauma of turning up here, we'll go with that. Doesn't want to come out today, by the look of it. Yeah, come on. Oh yeah, you're doing a dance. Fantastic. So, folks, tell me if you've noticed any good news. There's so many stories I saw today, but I don't want to go over all the bad news. Does anyone think we're any closer to getting real action? I mean, look, you all know how downcast and cynical I can get about this. Um, the government announced that Ida Buttrose won't be the head of the ABC anymore. Now, I thought that might be good news. And then I saw, oh no, they're replacing her with someone who used to run News Corp. I mean, fair income. Who are these? Who are these people? Loz, hey, come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, you're doing your whole dance. Are you getting hormonal? Come on. Come on. Oi. Well, come down. While I'm just waiting on some comments from you folk. Hello, Bendy 1991, Millum Randy James. Nice to see you on Instagram. I'm getting the feeling that people on Instagram want me to be doing lots of stuff. Maybe Instagram's not the place. Can you tell I'm a little bit downcast after reading that? And I'm not kidding. I spent 2 hours this morning going through all these feeds, looking for good news, and the two that I could find that could be painted as good news in some way were those two we've just looked at. All the others were really, really... Oh, no, there was one about that having really large solar farms, I guess we call them. You want to come down? Come on. You're really making some noise. Come on. Oi. Is an opportunity to promote a lot of biodiversity for grassland and small shrub species and pollinators. But it's an opportunity. That's what this is coming out of some research in Europe. But yeah. Naomi, is there a link for that? I'll pop that up in a minute. We can talk about that. But then when I looked into it further, so there's an opportunity to increase biodiversity and pollinator numbers and the diversity of these species, which are often given a lesser rating because grazing animals is often, let's do that instead. And then I looked at all the, not all of the articles, but a lot of the articles and proposals for large-scale a New Holland honeyeater. Oh, Naomi's obviously looking at birds in her backyard at the same time. Naomi, if you've got a link to an article or something from the glossy black cockatoo count, I would love to. I'd love to bring that up. Let's see, Martin's sort of on my wavelength here. You're talking to a cynic here. We don't learn from history, and the environment has always been last in the goals. And Naomi's good news that I'm referring to was that the great glossy black cockatoo count was increased. And there we are. I'll pop that up. Loz, what are you doing? Want to come down? You want to come? Want to come? Yeah, come on. Come on. Maybe you're happy because you're up high. I don't know. He's up much higher than I usually have him today. Let me see if I can find the I'll see which one of these is the September 2023. Yeah, Naomi, I've just looked up and had a look at the links on at BirdLife, and I'm seeing that the count happened in September, but I'm not seeing results. So, have they been? Yeah, talk the talk. That's for sure, Martin. I agree about the minister. So I haven't seen a new article. Naomi says, yeah, it's damn hard to find. Now, so why do I get frustrated? I'm looking for this stuff and I haven't found it. And I've just gone to the BirdLife page and the Great Glossy Count page. And I understand that it might be volunteers or something or others maintaining these sites, but it's a flagship program, I would have thought. And I thought by the very least, well, no, I'm past this because even when I ask to be put on lists to get press releases and stuff, I don't get them. So, I just don't get it. I talk about this stuff all the time and would reach out to as many people as I possibly can, but I never get proactively sent anything except by you, Martin, and a few others. So, God knows. Okay. So, because Naomi's infiltrated into the BirdLife ecosystem, she knows, but I can't. Yeah, I can't find anything. Can't find anything that's newer than September last year. So I can't accept that that's good news because I don't know it yet. So sorry. I hope it's right, and I hope that it doesn't mean that the birds are shifting from places where they haven't been seen into places where they are being seen. I just hope that it is real good news. Martin says, yeah, we have major wind turbine farms going up in pristine old growth forests. Yeah, the idea that you would be putting wind farms, that you would be clearing forest for wind farms is just nuts. Because it's not like there's no cleared land around. Yeah, all right. So there we are, folks. Well, we've cracked an hour with 2 good news stories, and they were only kind of good news stories. And that's really all I wanted to talk about today. So it's over to you, folk. Bendy 1991. Did I say that before on Instagram? Hello. Yeah. I'll just have a look. So the South Australian government. I'll just get this up and see. So according to the South Australian government, and so this has got to include the glossy black cockatoos on Kangaroo Island, their population estimate is 290 to 300 birds. When did that get published? Um, um, isn't that extraordinary? There's no publication date on it. Okay. Uh, Sorry, I'm just scouring to see if there's anything newer that I can find. January 2023. No, sorry, I can't. I can't give you any more info on the count. So. So the takahay. Well, the takahay is a bird that I've covered before with the as a corollary to the talking about the kakapo. Um, can I actually get that? Okay, Good News Network. I was reading the Good News Network earlier on. And the takahay has been in I think yeah. Okay, let's. I'll share that because that's this story. So yeah, prehistoric bird once thought to be extinct. It returns to the New Zealand wild. So yeah, what so they look like eastern swamp hens, only they're bigger and rounder. Um, yeah, just checking it. I when I spoke to Scott Mowat, and gee, that's going back to one of the very early episodes of the Bird Emergency. Scott had been talking about the breeding centres where the takahay was being successfully bred, and they turned out to be quite easy to breed. Uh, um, yeah, sort of adapted well uh, to captive breeding. The problem being that New Zealand's got rats and stoats and minks and ferrets and they take not only the young on the ground and the eggs, but with the takahe being flightless too, they can chase them down. So yeah, they were still existing up in the very high peaks, the alpine slopes of the South Island. So yeah, now they're going out into some of the let's let's play the YouTube vids and see what we think.
An extremely rare and ancient resident stalks the tussock. This is a takahe. It has a remarkable story of resurrection. These large flightless birds were thought extinct for half a century before one final population was discovered in a remote mountain valley in 1948. There are now only around 300 in existence. Which makes this Dad forages on tussock grasses, pulling up a blade in search of the juicy, tender base. It's a low-calorie food, so foraging takes a long time.
Watch the other one as well. Loz really enjoyed the bird calls in that. I don't know if you noticed that. Let's watch the other one. This is, I think, a guardian.
Hare mai, piki mai, ki tō koutou kai ka hau. Hoki mai, hoki mai, hoki mai.
Today's journey is significant because takahe have come from some pretty dark times. They were thought to be extinct for about 100 years. So 70 years ago, they were thought to be extinct. And here we are today, releasing takahe into the Greenstone Valley. So the journey from He Manu Ngaro to He Manu Tumanako is pretty significant.
Kaitahu are part and parcel of the national effort to restore rare species and maintain them in the Aotearoa landscape. And we're part of it. It is not a function that belongs entirely to the state. They're part of our heritage and our lands and our place, the place in which we have a primary identity.
He rangi whakahirahira tēnei, kua hoki mai rā tā mātou nei manu, tā mātou nei tāoka takahe, ki runga ki te whenua. Our whānau, our iwi and our hapu come here, live here, number of pā sites around this area, number of kāinga, settlements. And takahe was one of the main reasons, along with weka, tuna, kākā, kea, kereru.
For Fulton Hogan, it's probably just a sense of contributing back to the community, giving back for future generations. The release of the Takahi today is sort of a first step, so our next tipuna and children can see the fruits of our labour. You can feel the pride from the duck staff in the 5 years of mahi behind it to get to the point where we could release it into their environment.
So this site has some fantastic features for takahe. It has what they need. It's a great big valley, lots of good food sources, and so we think from everything we know about takahe that they'll really prosper in here. But it does come with challenges too, as all sites do, and the main one would be predator control. We've been able to control predators to very low numbers in this site, so we have good hopes for the population here.
Very excited today to be here at the takahe release in the Greenstone Valley. It's huge for the species. And lovely to see them. They made a quick dash out of their boxes and ran for the hills. We just hope and pray that they thrive and they breed, and this is the start of something really special.
This effort here today adorns what we have done to date, and we dream bigger dreams and have other species and other things will occur here in the future. But for the time being, this is a pretty important step.
Well, pretty happy with that. That's made it a much better ending to talk about. Now, what have we got here, Naomi? Now, so Environment New South Wales, that's ABC News, rare mallee birds. Let's see if I can find that one. When is that one supposed to be? 20 December 2023, I think that is the one I'm looking at. So Naomi, I can't copy those links out from there, so rare mallee birds rewarded by rainfall. Let's see if I can find that. Oh, okay, so it's got a scarlet-chested parrot. That's a good one. I'm happy to look at that. There we are. Oh, Naomi, don't apologise about the links. It's just that when they're in the chat, I can't copy and paste them. Let's have a look at what this one says from ABC Riverland. Okay, look at those magnificent scarlet-chested parrots, hey? And of course, whenever we hear about devastating weather events and flooding, it is good news for somewhere, isn't it? Well, this is Glupot. Okay. Winner of the spring storm was the Glupot Reserve, 60 kilometres north of Waikari in the Riverland. The sprawling mallee shrub is home to the scarlet-chested parrot and its vivid technicolor brilliance. Let's see, who's that? Peter Wanders. Bellbird Tours, okay. So after the big rains in 2010, we had a breeding event in the Mallee, and that was the first time since the 1970s that the scarlet-chested parrot had turned up at Glupot. They bred for a number of years but slowly disappeared again. The scarlet-chested parrot's population fluctuates across Australia but is steady enough to not be threatened. Yeah, it takes advantage of where it does rain. Its boom and bust cycle keeps birdwatchers like Mr. Wanders on their toes. Last year they came back again because we had so much rain that brought on good vegetation growth and seeding of food plants. They stuck around for a number of months but have gone again. There's a Red Lord Whistler. Oh, remember I mentioned the Red Lord Whistler the other day, didn't I? I'm just going to skim through this one. There's one of the grass wrens. Here we are, striated grass wren. Yeah, okay. Yeah, Glupot, definitely somewhere that if you get the opportunity to go there. Would be my thought. And what was the other one? Predator-free area in New South Wales. So what do we got? Environment New South Wales, parks and reserves and protected areas. Let me see if I can find that. What is it? In Environment New South Wales. This is going to be it, I think. February 2023. So New South Wales Parks and Wildlife Service also has a zero extinctions policy. And they're establishing a network of 7 predator-free zones across the state. They're comparatively small, considering, what did we talk about yesterday? 105,000 hectares for the golden-shouldered parrot, and we've got up here Sturt National Park, 4,000 hectares, Pilliga State Conservation Area. I've got to say, the Pilliga is an amazing area. I haven't seen it since the last lot of fires, but I used to go through the Pilliga regularly and loved going plant watching there. That's only 5,800 hectares. Negamba, 3,000 hectares. Uraldea National Park, 550 hectares. I believe, is that the one for the pine? I think. Nungata Southeast Forest National Park, 2,000 hectares. Mallee Cliffs National Park, been there, that's pretty amazing. 9,570 national parks. And then the Yathong Nature Reserve, 40,000 hectares. Now, 28 locally extinct species will return to parks. And can you see down here? Feral cats kill more than 1.5 billion native animals every year. I mean, that's huge. What are the locally extinct? Here we go. Eastern Bettong, Greater Bilby, Bridal Nailtail Wallaby, Crest-tailed Mulgara, Brush-tailed Bettong, Mitchell's Hopping Mouse, Greater Sticknest Rat, Numbat, Shark-Bay Bandicoot, Red-tailed Phascogale, and Golden Bandicoot. There we are, look at that. There goes a bilby. That's pretty radical. The 2019 Threatened Species Mammal Index showed an average 60% decrease between 1995 and 2016 for 32 mammals in sites with no targeted management intervention, but an average increase of 5,000% for 15 threatened mammals between 2000 and 2016 due to conservation in feral predator-free areas. Thanks for that, Naomi. I mean, that just shows us, doesn't it, that that just shows us, doesn't it, that conservation can be done. Oh, I didn't even add it, did I? Oh, sorry about that, folks. So this is what Naomi was referring to. So there we are. Sorry about not putting that up properly. There's the protected parks that I was talking about. I didn't realise I hadn't put it on the screen. And there we are. Feral cats kill more than 1.5 billion native animals every year. So, so the evidence is there in terms of mammals, particularly. People know how to protect them. The predator-free areas are very small. Pilliga is a place that I've tried to get to 3 times. Does that mean you haven't ever been to Dubbo, Naomi? You've never driven up the road to Dubbo? Oh, here we go. You got to let dickheads have their say. Are these endangered species even useful for society? Yeah. Yeah. What are you here for? That's what I want to ask you. Yeah, Pilliga is amazing. I don't know, folks. What do you think? What would you like to say to Heroine trigana? Are endangered species even useful for society? Yes or no? I would probably say, is anime useful for society? What does BTS add to society? Says someone who loves J-pop. Yeah, the problem, Naomi, when you know 1.5 billion native native animals are killed by cats, wind farms are indeed small change. The problem is that when the populations are so low of the endangered species that you can't afford any of them to get knocked out. G'day, Stormy. How are you? Good to see you again. Yeah, anime is a good form of entertainment and art, but what benefit is it for society? I mean, I can ask you the same question you posed about endangered species. I mean, you've heard about the concept of the web of life, I presume, and maintaining biodiversity for the health of not only ecosystems but things like human health, and that when it starts to break down, well, then pandemics start to happen. It's a whole lot of the question is, do we? Well, which society are you talking about too? Which society are we talking about? Western society? I mean, these questions are big. These are big questions. Yeah. Anyone seen anything from Stan today? Hope you're doing well, Stan. If you are in the stream today, yeah. Let me just go back over to Instagram and see if anyone's there. No one's commenting, so we won't even worry about Instagram. I think we might pull the pin on that again. Well, folks, we got a bit of good news in the end. Loz has given me the evil eye. I think it's in here. I think it's too warm for him in here, so I want to turn the lights off and get going. Naomi has an answer. Of course, endangered species are important. To not care about all species and not caring about the ecosystem as a whole. If we start to lose species, when do we consider it too much? Oh, did anyone see the amazingly cognizant speech that Donald Trump did the other day, where he mentioned that we're getting whales washing up on beaches everywhere because of the wind? What a fucking moron. Fettingham. What a fucking moron. You believe that between 30 and 40%, 30 to 40% of Yanks think he's the man? Yeah. Anyway, I am going to pull the pin, folks. What's today? Wednesday. I may be back on Friday, but definitely Saturday morning for Habitat Gardening. Stormy, dead set, dead right. Be nice if. When are we going to see this Environmental Protection Biodiversity Act update? Zoe, thanks so much. I haven't actually done a podcast for a while. I've got a couple that I need to get finish the editing, get out. I've got to be honest. I really lost the vibe on the podcast when I was having. Yeah. Controversy. Yeah. We got no idea what the dodo could have given to us. Got no idea what it could have given to us. And now that it's gone, we'll never know. What was I going to say? Yeah. Anyway, I got lost in the controversy, or maybe a good meal. Yeah. Well, that's basically why it's gone. Yeah. Although I think the evidence is pretty clear that we should be getting away from farming meat for protein, because we can't keep providing it to the world and being sustainable. I think the evidence is in. Anyway, that's a whole different story. Yes, where I got stuck was telling you what was going to be happening on Saturday morning for Habitat Gardening. We're going to be talking about cockatoos this time. What do cockatoos need to be happy in your garden and bringing them into your garden, and what do they need, and what do you need to do to ensure that they don't rip your house apart? And I don't think there's any clear train of thought about that anyway. So, Loz was just having a nap. Now he's awake again. I've ordered a camera too, a new camera, so that we will have Loz Cam in the not too distant future. Loz Cam will be a very good part of the show. Yeah, he's definitely finding it a bit hot in here, I think. So we'll pull the pin. Thanks everyone again for being involved. Riot Squad, it's always great to see you. Heroin Dragona, fantastic. Nice to see you for the first time. Who else? What do we have? Martin, Naomi, Zoe, and Stormy, and Trump is a moron. He's worse than a moron. He's a bloody dangerous fool. Oh, did you hear him with 17 seconds to decide whether to launch a missile? Zing, zing, zoom. The guy's an absolute moron, an idiot, child. Surprising that we're sitting on this rapidly warming world and you can't see a point of protecting it and trying to reverse the damage that is being done. If we don't protect endangered species and their habits, we are doomed. Naomi, I still wonder about... I really wonder about why governments are so scared to have discussions rather than to just do messaging. Yeah, really surprised. I'll try and drag something up. Maybe if I do come in on... Zoe, this is your first time on the live show. Zoe, do you know about the actual podcast, the audio podcast that has been going for many years? If you don't, and do you listen to podcasts? I mean, that's the other thing. That's how the show started. And there's, 100 episodes out there that you can listen to where instead of just me just talking, actually talk to the academics and the conservationists who do the work. And so experts, because that's not me. I'm not an expert. So Naomi has answered, no, she just started seeing the Bird Nerd Reels. Oh, well, that's good to know. I'm happy that the reels got to someone. That would be the first seen and heard reels. Would that be the the one, Zoe? I hope so. I hope so. Zoe, if you want to find the podcast easily, I'll see if I've got a banner for it. thebirdemergency.com/podcast. Have I got? Just seeing if I've got that link in as a banner. But it's a pretty easy one. thebirdemergency.com/podcast. And then you will be able to find all of those amazing. Well, I think they're amazing. They've been pretty good interviews with lots and lots of bird news. Martin, is that how you got onto the podcast? Through the Dawn Chorus? Wow. Okay. Oh, this is good. Actually, I'll stick around just a little bit longer. I like hearing how you discovered the show, because I don't think we ever really talk about that. I have 2 Dawn Choruses penciled in for the up on the whiteboard here, but I need to confirm one thing before we get into it again. But I do want to do a Dawn Chorus next week, and I'm thinking, we're up to the 24th, aren't we? Yeah. So I am thinking the Dawn Chorus I might do on Monday, because it's a long weekend here, and then we'll probably do one around the 12th of Feb, 12th, 13th, 14th of Feb. 14th would be good, wouldn't it? Valentine's Day Dawn Chorus. That might be good. Now, Zoe, you might be wondering what we're talking about with the Dawn Chorus. I'll tell you what we do on the Dawn Chorus. You go out at dawn, funnily enough, any morning, and if you can record, I just go out usually with the phone and just do a little video, and I record what we hear, and I talk about them. But now that I've got the new, we haven't actually done one since I've had the new camera, and I can rig up with the field recorder, I might do it a little bit differently. Anyway, the idea is you just go out early. It's a bit of an extension on the first seen and heard, and we just try and get an idea of what that early morning soundscape is in your area, and then we just share it. That's as simple as complicated as it gets. So here we are. Yeah. So I'll just go back here. Martin heard about the podcast because of the Dawn Chorus reels. Well, that means that had some value, because Martin, you've been a very, very productive member of the Riot Squad. Zoe, if you don't know why Martin is in the Riot Squad, the collective noun for a group of kookaburras is a riot. Therefore, the comments is the Riot Squad. Now, Zoe, you told me where you were, and I've forgotten. Let me go back to where Zoe told us. Golden Beach, Sunshine Coast. Well, magnificent spot. So, in that location, Zoe, you may well be having glossy black cockatoos in your area, which would be pretty amazing. Now, here we are, Naomi. Oh, this is interesting. So you heard about the show when Holly joined in, obviously. Wow, that's going back a couple of years, isn't it? Oh, here we go. Oh, Zoe, good. I'll come to that in a minute. Martin said, I keep listening in the hope of recording something heard something I couldn't recognise the other day. Well, that's good. And Martin, apart from sending photos and stuff, which I really appreciate when you do, if you record some sound that you can't identify, sure, send that through, and we'll put it to the test. Hello, Loz. Oh, Loz is onto the pair now. Zoe will check out the Dawn Chorus thing. She might get an odd call one morning. As what have you got? Have you got a blue and gold macaw, or have you got the red and green macaw? What is it? The green fronted macaw, or have you got a military macaw, or are you lucky enough to have a hyacinth? That would be wild. And Zoe hasn't seen a black cockatoo of any sort. Oh, that's a shame. Not even a red tail black. Wow. Blue and gold macaw. Gee. That. Have you just got the one? You must have a big. Is it a free roaming macaw? Actually, Zoe. Since you're on Facebook, can you send me a message on Facebook, and I will. I'd like to talk to you about, since you're a bird keeper. There's another project that I'm interested to get going. So could you just send me a message on, like, a private message or something on Facebook, so that I can get back in touch with you, and maybe you might like to talk to me about this new project. Now that I've got Loz here, and Loz is the co-producer of the show, camera shy today, I have got right into bird keeping YouTube, and it's wild. Okay. He was a rescue. Oh, cool. He made an aviary along the side of the house, but he hates flying. Yeah. Good. Yeah. Thanks, Zoe. Do reach out. Let's. I want to know more about that story. I mean, it's those of you who've been watching and listening for a long time probably will remember. I used to keep birds as a kid, and then I decided I didn't want to see birds in cages, and I didn't want to be part of that. And then all of a sudden, Loz turns up on, what was it, on New Year's Eve. So I've now got a bird again, and I'm quite happy about it. It's quite nice, but he's yeah. Okay. What have we got? What has Martin got? Do you feed Loz native blossoms? Yes, Martin. Currently none in his cage, because his cage has had a full clean and disinfect today while he was having his bath. But yeah, I will go out soon and go and clip. There's some callistemons in flower down the street. There's some syzygium down the street that's hanging over onto the footpath. I'll get that. And my housemate usually goes out and comes back with some red flowering gum. And when I go down to the supermarket, which will probably be tomorrow morning, I'll get anything hanging over. There's a lovely callistemon Hannah Ray in the car park, and I go there. And if I go to the Water Gardens shopping centre, I get off 2 bus stops early, and along Kings Road? Along Kings Road, there is a huge amount of callistemons and melaleucas in flower now as part of the roadside reserve. So I'll go and pinch a few things there. Naomi's just had, so not only has Naomi had her New Holland honey eater this morning, she's got a square-tailed kite flying over at speed. Is it on the way somewhere, or maybe being harassed by something bigger? Who knows? Well, I better put Loz's door down. All right, we're gonna go, Loz. Don't worry, we're gonna go out. You can chill out. While we're talking, Loz, I've bought a birdie playground thing that should arrive on Friday, hopefully. So, his out of cage time will, because we've got Shadow and Loz aren't that used to each other yet. I'm not happy about having Loz running around the floor while Shadow isn't, until we're not really sure that Shadow is okay with him. So I've got this birdie playground coming, and then I can sit him there instead of him being in the cage and chatting away. He can choose where he wants to go. Today he wants to be in the cage, which is funnily enough, but early this morning he was straight out for his bath. Naomi reckons that the kite is on the way after a parrot. What, a Rosella or Laura Kate? Yeah. Okay, nice to meet you, Zoe. You're now a member. Fully you're a fully fledged member of the Riot Squad, I guess now, Zoe. And I'm glad that the First Seen and Heards dragged you in. Yeah, Rosella, Eastern Rosella, I'm guessing too, at your place, or was it a Crimson, Naomi? So yeah, I have been very, very slack with the First Seen and Heards because I wanted to do something a bit different with them, and that was doing graphics and everything, but it takes too long. So I think I'm just going to go back to face to the camera, do my thing, and leave it alone from then on. I really wanted to increase up the production standard, but it just takes too long when I'm doing other things and trying to just do other things. So yeah, but I'm so pleased that the First Seen and Heards and the Dawn Chorus have got some people in. All right, let's say, what day will we do Dawn Chorus? Monday the 29th. I will. I'm going to put a sticker on it now. Just bear with me while I get to my whiteboard. Okay. That's cool. Martin, there are some amazing things of cockatoos on YouTube and all sorts of parrots and crows and stuff. So anyway, there we are. So Zoe likes the First Seen and Heard as it was. Well, I just needed a bit of a break, I think. I just needed a break to discover what I wanted to do again. I'd gone so long. I think I'd gone a year or something without missing a day. But now I've missed lots of days. Zoe, where did you see them? Did you see them on Facebook, or were you seeing them on Instagram or TikTok? Yeah, let me know that. Not everything needs to be bright and shiny, that's right. Umbrella cockatoo, Martin, that's the big white cockatoo, and the umbrella cockatoo and the salmon-crested cockatoo are like the Moluccan cockatoos. So they're an Indonesian cockatoo. Again, extremely rare in the wild, but very, very popular in as a cage bird in the US. And unfortunately, a lot of people who have cockatoos don't keep them in the best of spirits. So that's why there's always rescue cockatoos and stuff going out there. If I didn't live in a unit, in a little flat, I'd consider a rescue cockatoo, just because you could do something good for them, but I think the neighbours would kill me if there was a cockatoo here. Have you got regent honeyeaters at your place right now, Naomi? Is that what you're telling me? Is that what you're saying? You've got regent honeyeaters there at the moment? And Zoe appreciates my dedication. And Facebook, cool, okay. Yeah. Zoe, it's a good idea to just, if you've got YouTube, just subscribe on YouTube, because there'll be YouTube's sort of the preferred thing for streaming. I can do more interactivity on YouTube, although I still do need a few more subscribers to unlock the next lot of features that as a creator I can use. Now, Zoe and I are bird keepers now. Do any of you have any friends who have like cockatoos or galahs or big parrots? Don't really come across that many people who are keeping big parrots. Oh, I found today. I found a fledgling crested pigeon today, and when I got off the bus, I saw this little rustle in the grass, and I went over and saw this tiny little crested pigeon, but it couldn't really fly, and I wanted to get it up higher, but there were some parents around. I just left it alone once I investigated what it was. Hope it made it. So Zoe's on YouTube. Don't do Twitter. Thank you. Yeah, the YouTube is just the Bird Emergency podcast. I think from years gone by. Stormy, yes, greenwashing experts. You know what, Stormy? I don't think Labor are greenwashing. And I know that might sound controversial. I just think that they think they're doing the best they can. I think they're so infected with the whole, we've got to do the corporate thing, we've got to keep, we've got to keep everyone happy. So, yeah, we'll get an ex-news person to run the ABC. Then people won't complain, I really think they think they're doing the best they can. I don't think that they actually think that being a little bit radical is even possible. Do you want to come out now, Loz? Come on. Coming out? Come on. Come on. Come on. Here we are. Look at that. Loz has made it. He's decided to come out and say hello. So there we are. Funny. Look at that. Oh, there we are. Loz has decided that he loves my beard. Yeah. Okay, Naomi says, yeah, thanks, Loz. The trouble with cockatoos is they're so long-lived. Yeah, you need to have an adoptive parent for your bird as you age. Yeah, absolutely. Naomi knows someone with a hyacinth macaw. I would love to have a hyacinth macaw. It's a double grass for it to live in. It travels on his shoulder when out. And a sun conure. I've been looking at sun conures. We'll leave the bird keeping chat for the next project, but there is going to be a live stream bird keeping project coming up. So you see that? Look, this is what Loz has been doing. He's discovered something about the beard and he really likes it. So, yeah. So Loz is very, very, very keen on the beard, which is why it hasn't been shaved off in the last little while. Okay, folks. Well, here we are. This is it. This is my life now. And don't you love, now I've got the green screen, Loz kind of disappears. He disappears and then comes back with the head and comes back around. There we are. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, that's why we need to do a different kind of live stream. Good on you, Loz. Okay, folks, I really am going now. I'm going to have to take Loz outside and get him some more banana, I think. And I can see by the food bowl the yellow flesh nectarine. Not a fan. Keep me up to date with any good news that you see in terms of I got a message. Where did I get a message from, Naomi? Is that on Instagram? No, nothing on Instagram. No, you'll have to be telling me where I got the message, because I'm not looking at anything other than what's in the chat here, and I've got Instagram open as well, but nothing's coming through on Instagram. Actually, Instagram, I'll see you later, Instagram. I'm going to drop you now. If you want to join in another time, please do that. See ya. Instagram's gone. And I can just stop that. That'll be good. Okay. Messenger. Okay. Naomi, did you send me a message on Messenger? Oh, it's funny because all the messages in let me have a look. All the messages in the chat actually come up as notifications, so I tend not to look until the end of the day. No, I've just got. Oh, that must have been. Was this you? Was that 2 hours ago, Naomi? Oh, cool. Here we go. Cool. Yes, thank you, Naomi. I have got that from Karinga Cottage, right? Cool. Thank you. I'll chase him up. I'm still chasing up the reserve as well. So we have a lot we're trying to get onto. Hi YouTube. Gee, there's a lot of YouTubers. A lot of YouTube on. That's nice for everyone. And great. Okay. Fan income. Look at this. I feel like I've got a problem. Toddler hanging around. He just goes mental over the beard. It's a couple of hours last night. It's on the go. All right. Yeah. So Zoe, that would be unreal if you message me on the Facebook, folks. Probably be on Friday doing something. Definitely on Saturday morning for Habitat Gardening at 9:30 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, and the 29th I'll create the Dawn Chorus for. Oh, that's a Monday, so let's make it as part of Monday with Grant, since I don't have another guest lined up. So that'll be sometime around midday on Monday. All right. Okay, looking up there. Looking up here. All right. I'll see you all another time. And if you haven't checked out the actual audio podcast, check out thebirdemergency.com/podcast. And that's about to make its debut in the YouTube music as well. So that'll be fun, won't it? Naomi, thank you for popping in again. Good on you, Loz. Well, yeah, we got 2 bits of good news out today, so that was good. I'll keep looking. If you find any good news, send it to me. Let me know. Thanks, Stormy. See you later. See you to the rest of the Riot Squad. I'll catch you in, well, probably 2 days' time. See ya. Look at this. See ya.